It's about that time of day again here, boys and girls. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Joseph James. Thanks for stopping by here for our nightly newsletter. Today is the 9th day of the 7th month of the year 2014, July 9th, 2014. Thank you so much for taking a break here from the soccer match this evening to tune in to our nightly newsletter. I've got a great, exciting, jam-packed event for you tonight. Boy, that sounds pretty exciting by itself right there. Rolling up our sleeves, getting started here on a Wednesday evening. We got 3 things to work on tonight. First of all, we'll talk about what happened today. We'll dig into the charts, take a look at what actually happened in the markets today. The second thing is we're going to roll up our sleeves, grab some charts, and take a look at tomorrow. I'm going to give you 3 strategies if price goes higher, if price goes lower, and if price goes sideways. And then last but not least, we'll take a look at the news. We got some news coming out of China overnight. We got news in London tomorrow morning, and then we got some big news on the schedule for you tomorrow morning in the U.S. session. Alrighty, 3 important things here today. Before we jump into those charts here to take a look at what happened today, I want to remind you guys, if you're not watching this video on our blog right now, if you're over at our YouTube page or watching this anywhere else besides our blog at Sideways Markets, make sure you get below the video. There's a link below the video that will take you right to our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. You need to get over to our blog for 3 specific reasons. Numero uno, right below the video tonight, you can download all of these charts. So all of the hard work I've put in here this evening, you can have them all for free. So whether you're a member or not, you can get your hands on my charts. Now, the reason I want you to download them right now, okay, so pause the video, download the charts. If you're a member with me, I want you to bring those with you tomorrow morning. We're going to be using those as our roadmap to begin our morning prep. If you're not a member, well, now you've one step further to being successful every day because you're going to have the same charts that we use to profit in our trade room with right on your computer. The second thing I want you to do today, in the upper left-hand corner, you might be curious. If you've been watching my newsletter for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years, right? I know who you are out there. Love having you guys come back every evening and watch this newsletter. But if you want to see how we actually trade this stuff, if you want to see how we actually take this information and profit from it, how do we hook up our computer to the printer and print those $100 bills? I got a free pass to invite you to come out and join our live trade room any day this week. So upper left-hand corner, register for your free pass. I look forward to sending you the invite to our trade room tomorrow. Last but not least, lower left-hand corner, right above my ugly mug, I want to get your name and your email address, and I'll send you a copy every evening when I send out my newsletter. That's right. You no longer have to worry about reloading the YouTube page or checking back on the blog. I'll let you know exactly when the newsletter comes out. I'll send you an email before 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. All righty? So 3 things on our blog here at Sideways Markets. The first thing was download all the charts below the video, right? Second thing, take me up on my offer. Grab a free pass and come out and join our trade room tomorrow. Second thing. Third thing. Boy, like I'm not a math teacher. Third thing. Give me your name and your email address. I'll put you on that nightly newsletter list. That way you get every newsletter in your inbox. Alrighty? Ready to rock and roll? All right, guys. First things first, let's take a look at what happened in the markets today. Now, maybe I saw something different here, but is it me or did gold grow a pulse? I want to say we had a little bit of a pulse there today on gold, right? It was a weak pulse. I could barely feel it, but it definitely got a little bit perky here this morning on the gold. And so with that comes a little bit of excitement here. We may finally be digging ourselves out of this little rut we've been in over the past few weeks on gold. Boy, ever since we had the beginning of June come around, this thing got really sleepy and sloppy. You can see here. Stuck at the highs right now in the bear channel. We've been trading inside the sell zone here up to 35.4. We've got major support below us around 95s. We've got major resistance above us at 61.2. And I have additional support below here at 87.6. So we've been stuck in this range here for a while now. In fact, you might be thinking you might be watching yesterday's newsletter because this almost looks like the exact same chart. But what I'm going with this is that we can see here if we zoom in on this, we've finally got a break out of this, what I was thinking was going to quickly become a head and shoulders pattern. Right? So here we are now. That head and shoulders has pretty much been whacked here. Now, we didn't get the close into highs, right? You'll notice if you look at that candlestick in the daily chart here, the candle did not close at the highs. So we are definitely not out of the woods yet. But if there's one thing I can tell here, we found a pulse, right? This market really is alive. So now we move over to the anchor charts now, and we begin to look and speculate, okay, let's plan if price goes higher, if price goes lower, and if price goes sideways. Well, right now, you can see here, we're trading right about that 1332, right? 1329.4. So my number here is this 34.9. That's where I need, if I go higher, if I don't pull back, if I just go higher, I'm going to want to get in above that 34.9, okay? That's going to be the big clue here. Get above that 34.9. So what you really got to be careful of tomorrow, all right? Write this down. If we jump out and then come back in, I've got to really be careful buying below that 34.9. If we jump out and come back in, okay? Now, with that said, if we go higher, I'm looking to be a buyer above the 34.9. Then I have my 39.1 and my 47.1. Those are going to be targets. Now, it looks like there's no room here, but remember, this is a 32 anchor, so this is a very slow time frame. So you should be able to get in somewhere around that 35 to 36, and you've got a good $300 per contract ready for you to 39.1. 47.1 would definitely be where we're gunning for. All right. If I extend out even further, I've got 57.5. So targets overhead, if we just start cooking to the upside, get me above the 34.9, and I'm off at the races buying. Remember, I want to get in above 34.9. You're foolish if you see this thing go higher and then you buy it below that 34.9 because that's where guys like me look to sell it short. All right, so make sure you get above that 34.9. If you're a member with me in the trade room, we call that a reversal line. The next thing, what if price goes lower? If price goes lower, we now have buy zones to work with. 21.4, 14.5. Okay, so we got buy zones here below us now. So use those as we go lower. Now, this is going to get ugly if it goes below the 12.1 because now we have the opposite side of the range. Remember how we talked about 34.9 being my line in the sand above? Yep, well, now I got the line in the sand below. If we go lower here, we're still going to look to buy these lows, right? We're not going to be out of the woods yet. So as I go lower, I have buying opportunities at 21.4, 14.5, and 1305.4. Then, if price does get below that 05.4, then I have the green light now to be selling. Now, it's just like to the upside there, right? If we go below and then we come back in, I'm not going to sell short there because now I'm selling into support. All right, so make sure you got an eye on that. And then my target down below is going to be down at 1287.5. So I have targets above if we break out to the upside. I got targets below if we collapse to the downside. If we happen to go sideways here right now, I'm going to err on the side of buying. So if we go sideways, I'm looking to buy these lows. I'm not too interested right now at selling the highs right now. So if we go sideways, I'm buying lows only. All right, guys? Little bit of a perkiness to this gold here right now. This will be our 32 anchor. As we go faster here, you can see here are going to be some additional levels here for you to be looking to buy. Now, some of these are going to be the same as the 32 anchor. Some of them are different. We've got buy zones here pretty much right now at 27.9, 23.9, 18.4. Okay, those are going to be areas where I can now begin looking to buy. Now remember, folks, we're not just closing our eyes and pressing the buy button. All right, what we're doing is we're going to wait for this price to begin to turn, and once it makes its turn, then I'm looking for my wave patterns, my wave reversal patterns, right? My two steps, my three bar reversals, whatever pattern I can find. So right now, if I get a wave reversal pattern on this, I can jump into this thing right now. I'm at major support. Targets now overhead at 36.1 and 1340. And then remember, I gave you guys some other targets off the 32. So we've got the 47.1 and the 57.5. So use those targets if and when we get above that 1340. All right. Now, even though we were expecting to see some buying pressure here on gold, nothing is written in stone. We are definitely still inside of that range-bound market that we've been sitting in here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. As you can see, we're still inside of this 35.4. So just be aware, again, get me above that 35.4, and I'm off of the races here up to that 61.2. All right, we get below it, we're headed down to that 1287. Okay, you can see these levels now lining up nicely. Okay, just remember though, don't force it above that 35.4 unless you get the pullback. All right, so now you know what I'm looking at. I'm erring on the side of the bulls here on gold right now. But again, I always want to remind you, we have been very concerned about the personality here. So do not force those breakouts if they're not looking good. All righty? Oh, and one more thing here, guys. If you need updated information here on gold tomorrow morning, you know where to reach me, right? Come into the trade room and simply ask me to give you updated analysis on the gold. And I'd be happy to do that for you. So if you're looking for real-time trade calls, if you want exact entries, basically, if you want to be up to date on how we're using this material right now, come out and join as a member. I'll teach you how I find all this stuff, and I'll give you the updated information tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Moving forward here on the mighty mini Russell. Now, the last time we spoke, we had the Russell looking like it might be time for these buyers to step back in. But at the same time, if you rewind the tape and go back and watch last night's newsletter, you'll also hear me with a very big concern. Remember the concern? Last night I said I was expecting, because of this big move the last 2 days, I was expecting to see some range-bound markets because of that huge sell-off off the highs. We also have some overhead resistance levels, which you can't see on this chart. But if you go back and watch last night's newsletter, it's very easy to see why this was such a range-bound market today. All right, so we pretty much got what we expected today on the Russell. Up and down, up and down. And so looking at the daily chart today, we can see here was our break, right? We got a little vacation here. The sellers were busy, busy, busy. Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, we pretty much trade sideways. So we have profit taking here right now at the highs. We bounced yesterday off the low of that channel, had a nice big wick to it. We were balanced today, right, with a doji, right? That doji here, very balanced today on the daily chart. Buyers are locked and loaded, right? We're right down near these lows. And the sellers are going to have to wait a little bit to really get a chance to get short here. Got a lot of support levels below us right now. So on the next chart here, so basically as we finish up on the daily chart, we're completely balanced, which means in all reality, this could go anywhere right now, right? It really could. It could go anywhere. And so we're going to look for some more technical clues here to give us a chance to be ready for anything tomorrow. So let's make sure we're ready for whatever this market throws at us tomorrow. Here's my 32 anchor now on the old Rusty. And you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Here's my resistance overhead. Here's my support below. This is exactly what I talked about last night. We have this range-bound area here, and since we had such a dramatic tumble off the highs, the Russell's been running a marathon every day for the past 2 days. So we did expect to see the Russell to consolidate, right? To kind of lick its wounds, so to speak. Profit taking off the highs. Buyers clearly tried today, right? We saw a couple times today where the buyers tried, but they just simply weren't there. So we will expect here as we go to Thursday and Friday this week, we'll definitely expect to see some more of those buyers trying. Now, boy, I would love to buy right here because we have just a delicious area here to be a buyer, right? We really do. We got a lot of support. We got a trend line here. We're priced at a discount. So there's really no reasons why the buyers aren't ready to go right now. But clearly these buyers just don't even exist right now. So we're waiting for them to begin their process of pushing this thing back higher. Now here's where I'm running into problems. The Russell is in transition right now. And guys, this is going to happen whether we like it or not. The markets are going to go in they're going to go in phases, right? We're going to have a bullish market, transition, bearish market, right? Transition, bullish market. So what's going to happen is we're going to continue to see moves like this. This is nothing new. This has been happening since a wealthy rice farmer sold tickets to his barrels of rice in Osaka, Japan, right? I mean, this goes all the way back to 15th century Osaka, Japan. This is not going to change. Price goes higher. Smart traders take their profit. There aren't any sellers until the sellers come in. Sellers grab a hold, right? We end up going sideways again after those sellers take profit. The buyers see it as discounted price. The buyers grab a hold of it again. So right now, where are we? Well, right now, we are right at that transitional area right now. And I'm a big believer that a new trader, one of the biggest challenges you have as a new trader is to determine whether or not we're trending, we're range bound, if we're in transition. And it's also something we talk about quite often, where as a new trader, you haven't been doing this long enough to know that it's not worth it for us to force these trades when the market is in transition. All right? Rather than, for example, up here, let's say up here, rather than trying to be the first person to sell those highs and getting stopped out, getting frustrated, right? Losing money, why not simply wait until you have a clear trend? You know, that's what we did this week on the Russell. On Monday, it was a transitional area. On Tuesday, it was an easy short. We made all of our money on the way down. And now today, on Wednesday, another consolidated area. So tomorrow, we're now ready to go. If this thing decides to go higher here, we're not stressed out. We're not worried. We haven't given back a lot of the profit, right? We're in a position now to capitalize on a next big move. So remember, one of the things that we specialize in at School of Trade, in our trade room, is making sure if you're a new trader that you know what's going on, what's realistic. Is this something to be trading? If it's not, we're going to sit on hands. That's half the battle. Half the battle is knowing when to be looking for a trade and when to be looking for the golf clubs, right? That's half the battle. Sometimes the market's too choppy because you're in transition. So we're trying right now to wade through this transitional period. Now, here's what my gut tells me. My gut tells me the next leg down could be a pretty sharp move lower, all the way to that 1150 area here, that last range low. So my gut tells me the way this looks right now is this could be nothing more than a bear flag, right? A bear flag. It's classified by a break sharply out of consolidation, a channel, if you will, right? Or maybe a pennant, if you will, and then a continuation lower. So the problem we have, though, on the shorts, okay, this is the real big dilemma right now. If I want to be a buyer on the Russell, green light, good to go, every new higher high, I'm ready to buy, and I've got targets overhead on the way back to new all-time highs. All right, so I'm ready to go on the Russell right now to buy, right? I'm not going to close my eyes and buy. I'm going to wait for the pattern, right? Wait for the pattern. If you remember with me, you know what I'm talking about, all right? If you're not a student here at School of Trade, what are you waiting for? I'll teach you all the patterns. That's all you got to wait for right now. My big concern, though, is that we just simply may not get this thing easily to the downside, right? It's difficult to have the confidence to sell short into all this support. So my best case scenario would be we get a buy here in the short term. We watch it now collapse back down, and that gives us a great spot here now for the opportunity to get short. So if I want to sell short, I would love to sell short, but I want to do it up at this resistance overhead, right? I'll sell short at 80s, at 86s, right? But again, trying to sell short right here is going to be tough, right? Because right now we are priced at a discount, and I don't want to sell short at a discount. I want to sell short at a premium. So what I'll recommend that we do is be very patient with this thing to drop. If it starts to just fall like a hot knife through butter, right? If it just tumbles here, then we're going to know the personality is ripe for us to jump in short. But if it grinds lower here, right? If this keeps grinding lower, don't be surprised if this becomes a pretty challenging environment to get short. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for one thing: market personality. I need to see who's grabbing hold of this. We're in transition right now. If the buyers grab it, we're ready to go to the buy side. If the sellers grab it, this is the stuff I got to really be careful with, because I'm going right into support here as we go. Now check out the next chart, because the next chart here is going to give you a very specific set of instructions as far as what to do and where to do it. Now, first of all, once again, price goes sideways, I'm right in this consolidated area. So if price goes sideways, I'm going to buy those lows, I'm going to sell these highs. All right, 76 even down to 61.9. Now you know your plan if price keeps consolidating tomorrow morning, right? Don't be afraid to buy those lows and sell those highs if price continues to consolidate, right? That's what it's there for. But what if price goes higher? Once we get above the 76 even, then we have the ability to start buying. But just like I said on gold, I don't want to see this go up and then come back in. Because if that's the case, now that becomes a much lower percentage trade. All right? It still may break, but I want to make sure tomorrow that when I get in long above that 76. All right? Even if it's 76.1, just make sure you stay above that high. That way you're not going to fall victim to that fake out breakout that tries to get you back in the middle and you just simply lose your money. All right? Same thing to the downside. As we go lower, again, I'm buying these lows here, my first priority. But if we go lower here below 61.9, as long as I can get into my entry pattern short below that 61.9, I'm a happy camper. And then I want you to use these levels below you for your profit targets. So if we get in below 61.9, I've got my 54.4, my 49.3, and if we really get pushing lower here, 21.3 on the way down, right? So we get a lot of area here below us if we really tumble, right? 21.3, 19, or 11.9, all right? Now, again, very tough for me to predict this stuff ahead of time. So if we get short here, I will be giving you guys updated targets tomorrow morning in our live trade room. So log into our trade room tomorrow. I'm going to have some updated targets for you guys on the Russell. Tough to tell what happens in the short term. Again, if we go sideways, I'm buying lows, I'm selling highs. If we go higher, I'm buying above the 76. If we go lower, selling below the 61.9. And I really do mean I'm going to wait to get short below 61.9. All right, not back in that range. All right, on our best behavior tomorrow, remember, the key word tomorrow is personality, right? Personality. We're going to be looking for clues to see who grabs control over this on the old Rusty. And then last but not least is the big mover of the session today, the good old crude oil futures. What a nice move down today. Made pretty much all of our money today selling short there on the crude. And of course, just like we said yesterday, we had to be open-minded to the price going higher too. So this was another example this morning of how we came in this morning. We looked at the personality. The personality was bearish, kept on selling off here. The biggest problem we had today was actually getting retracements off the low, because what actually happened was, you can kind of see it in this candlestick. You can see this big daily candle. I mean, literally, we closed right at those lows. It's a full-bodied candle. So this morning what happened was we just kept grinding lower here. We never got that big move off the low so I could then sell it at a premium, right? So that was the biggest challenge for us today, was we didn't have as many opportunities as we would have liked to because we didn't get up off those lows. And you know me, I'm not going to sell the lows. I'll wait to sell at the highs. I'll wait to sell at a premium. I'll wait to sell at a retracement. All right, guys? Now, once again here, we're grinding our way through here down to important support levels. apparently people have forgotten about the whole crisis happening in Iraq, right? It's amazing how that happens, isn't it? If you recall, just a few weeks ago, the news media was telling us it's different this time. The world's coming to an end. Oh my goodness, right? And all the panic set in. Never the case, right? You can't believe what you see on television these days, especially when they're selling advertising. So here we are now, our next support level at 101.54. I have some symmetry down here as well. And my gut tells me that we're going towards this 101, right? Obviously, we're at 101.85 right now. But as you can see here, we have a channel here right about, let's say, 150. So it's not exactly 101. It's right about 150. So my gut tells me here we're going to get down to that, again, maybe not exactly 100 in the first shot, but we're going to be getting towards 101. I've got support here at 101.28 and 99.82. So look for those to be the best targets as we're looking to sell short here on crude. And remember, at any moment here, if we do get down to this 100 area, right, don't be surprised if we see some buyers here entering back on the tape. So make sure we take our profit at these levels listed below. The ideal scenario right now for you buyers is going to be to get down to these lows and then look for the chance to buy this one more time. So we're coming into some very attractive buying areas here for long-term buyers on crude. But today, though, you can easily see very strong on the sell side here today. And apparently, everybody's forgotten about this crisis in Iraq. Thank goodness, right? It's about time. Moving forward here on the 32 anchor, you know what I'm going to say here, right? We're priced at a discount. This is the biggest challenge we have right now. We're priced at a discount. You can see here we achieved that target we talked about earlier on this week. Way up top here, we had this as our target on Monday evening, so you can't say I didn't warn you about that one. And you can easily see here right now, as we look at this chart, we really just couldn't get up off these lows. We kept on grinding lower. Last night's newsletter, I was looking for an entry short right about here, right? So we barely missed that. So we had to get a little bit aggressive in the trade room today to get those trades short. Now, the big trouble we're in right now, we're at the lows, right? We're priced at a discount. So right now, my number one priority is to protect capital and get into trades that give me a lot of reward and only a little bit of risk. I can see right now the best opportunity to sell short, 103.03. 103.30, 103.70, 103.93. Okay, so what I'll look for is maybe a zigzag setup into that high, right, and then get to selling short. The hard part's going to be if it keeps on selling off like this, because now while you can just jump in blindly, right, when these things start selling off, professional traders know that selling short at the lows, eventually you're going to lose money. So you may have made some money doing it this week, but if you made that a habit of selling those lows, you're going to lose money in the long run. So my advice to you for tomorrow is stay patient for a retracement. Selling at the 103 area would be just beautiful right now for a nice big wide open space down to that 101.10, right, and 141. So look for these to be your targets here. And remember, as I always say, if you're looking for real-time updates, if you're looking for real-time trade calls with exact entries and exits, come out and see me tomorrow in our live trade room, and we'll give you exactly that. Last but not least here on the crude, not much different here, but you can see here once again on my 16 anchor, again, right down near those lows, which means my number one priority right now is waiting patiently for a premium. I've got sell zones here overhead, 102.73, 102.93, 103.03, 103.30, and of course the 103.70 to 103.93. Those are going to be the absolute ideal locations for us to look for selling short on Thursday, possibly even Friday as well. I'll update you guys though first thing tomorrow morning. All right? So big concern right now, right? Big concern here right now. On the gold, we're looking for personality. On the Russell, looking for personality. On the crude, looking for a retracement. We're hoping some of these sellers will take some profit so we can get into this short up around 102.73, 102.93, the whole 103 even area. Alrighty? I'm not done with you yet, guys. One last thing here this evening. Let's make sure we're ready for tomorrow's news. Today was a very busy day here. We had the FOMC meeting minutes. Not a lot changed today as far as the FOMC meeting minutes were concerned. We did see a very, I would say, balanced report out of crude. Clearly, the sellers on crude did not worry too much about that balanced report today out of the inventory report. In fact, we really had one of the best price action days on crude oil for a Wednesday in probably the last 6 months. Right? The last few months here on a Wednesday morning, you pretty much could just sleep in and wait until after 10:30, but not the case today. So hopefully that's going to be the case here going forward tomorrow as well. Looking at news here for tonight, we do have some important news out of Japan. We've got the labor force survey. Basically, that's going to be your non-farm payroll report out of Australia. So if you're trading the Asian markets overnight, currencies, commodities out of the Asian session, look no further than 9:30 tonight. You get some great opportunities here coming in overnight. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, it'll be just around midnight, we'll hear from the Chinese merchandise trade balance. This is another Red Star news event. So we got Red Star at 9:30. Red Star, usually this is going to be somewhere between midnight and 2 a.m., right? You'll get that news out of China. And then we're going to hop, skip, and jump down here to 4:30 a.m. We get some minor reports here, CPI, industrial production, coming out of Europe. But I think the big news here, though, is going to be 4:30, 7 a.m., and then 8:30 tomorrow morning. So as you look into the U.S. session news, we can see we have, really at 7 o'clock, we get the Bank of England announcement. Been a lot of chatter coming out this week about what that announcement is going to be, so be ready for some action. End of the European session. We've then got 8:30 a.m. for the jobless claims report. Remember, non-farm payrolls was last Thursday. It was a very robust number, very positive for the U.S. economy, very bullish for jobs. We're seeing a lot of promising data coming out of the news right now. Tomorrow morning, we got 7 o'clock, and then 8:30. Both are Red Star news. So that tells me whenever I see Red Star news early in the morning, it means you better be at your desk early, be ready for whatever comes your way. And since you were on tonight's newsletter, you're ready for up, down, sideways, whatever this market throws at you, you are now prepared for. We also have a very minor report there at 10 a.m. from wholesale trade. We get a minor report at 10:30 from nat gas inventories. We get a balance sheet at 4:30, and then we get home loans report at 9:30 from Australia. All of that is pretty much a waste of time, though. My number one priority right now is going to be the 9:30 tonight. Sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. you'll hear from China. And then, of course, we got 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Just about the beginning of the U.S. session there at 7 a.m., 8:30 a.m. for your jobless claims. Lots of Red Star news. Red Star news for tomorrow tells me you better be ready. And if we start getting those things to run, don't say I didn't warn you. Last but not least here today, boys and girls, I want to thank you so much for coming out and joining me here. Make sure you share this information with a friend. Send them a copy of this email. Send them a copy of the video. Don't forget also, too, there's a wealth of knowledge here at Sideways Markets. And if you're wondering what it feels like to be a member of School of Trade, since you've seen how effective this newsletter is, you've seen with your own two eyes, right? You listened with your own 2 ears. I think you've got 2 ears, right? But you know this stuff works very well. I want to show you what it means to be a member. I got a great free trial, right? That free trial will teach you more during that trial than you're going to learn anywhere else on the web. I'll prove it to you. Join that free trial. While you're there, check out our 3 levels of membership, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And don't forget, guys, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary here at School of Trade in 2014. We do a lot of amazing things with our clients every day in our trade room. We keep getting better and better every day, and I can't wait to have the opportunity to help you kickstart your new trading career. My name is Joseph. My wife Megan and I created SchoolOfTrade.com over 10 years ago because we wanted to be the industry standard for trader education. Whether you're a brand new trader or you're an experienced trader that wants to stop losing money and wants to start making money, come out and join me as a new student. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in the trade room. tomorrow afternoon on the Free Pass, and tomorrow evening with our nightly newsletter at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Signing off now, boys and girls, my name is Joseph. Thank you so much. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.